what are the times that we cannot bury the dead? It is exactly the same as we said for janazah prayer. When the sun is rising, and when the sun is right in the zenith, no shadow period, and then when the sun sets, 3 times. And notice these times are like not too long. It just lasts maybe 10-15 minutes at the most. So you can wait a little bit if these times come. So when you're in charge of taking such decisions, make sure all these things, that timing and paperwork and all those things. Can we bury at night? Is it okay? The scholars generally, they say that it is not recommended because of few reasons. That they quote the hadith in Sahih Muslim. They said the Prophet ﷺ prohibited that a man be buried during the night before the janazah prayer could be performed for him, unless one is forced to do that. But the other group of scholars, they said that, hey, look at Sayyidina Abu Bakr, Sayyidati Aisha radiallahu anh, and Uthman, and also Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anh. All they were buried in the time of night time. And also there was this black woman who used to take care of the masjid. When she died, she was also buried at night. But the scholars then said that there were some reasons. If you have a reason to bury at night, then you should bury. Otherwise, it's better that you do it during the day. Why? The reasons that they give is that, first of all, if you bury at night, there will be very small number of attendees, like probably maybe 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, something like that. And our whole focus should be how to benefit the dead the most, right? So if you bury very late night, who's going to pray janazah prayer? How many people are going to come for the burial? How many people will get that khairat of rewards that we said? So those are the issues. So, but the scholar said that if there is a region where they have a lot of heat, for example, right, during the daytime, or if they are fearing that body might decay a lot, it's not good. So they say in that case it's okay to bury at night. But preferably, it's good that it's done during the day so that most people can participate and attend. All right. Preparation. The grave, of course, have to be prepared before you take the dead body and bury. We have to take care of a few things here. Of course, we are. It's a dead body. It's not like a fancy house or something, but it doesn't mean that we just do things, not so good. Just dump the body and not care of how it was dug and so on. We have to take care of few things. What are those? First thing, we have to know if the place where you are trying to bury, when you dig it out, you have to make sure that the person who was buried at that spot before, whether that body completely decayed or not, completely disintegrated. So sometimes what happens, if there are like a lot of people who die and if the graveyard is very small, people try to hurry up, and sometimes they see small bones coming out of the grave, the thing that they dig. So the scholars say that should not be allowed. If you see some bones, you have to bury it back, the bones itself, and close it and dig some other grave, because that body completely has to disintegrate. Not a single trace should be left. And you have to ask the funeral people how long does it take, depending on the climate and so on, region. So that's a respect for the person who was buried already. But of course, if there's no other choice, if there is no space in the graveyard, you are not left with any option, then the scholar said that in that case you can bury the dead like that, but make sure that the bones goes out if there are any remains of that. Some people, what they do is that they take the bones out and they throw it in a well or another container side by, and they put the new body inside the grave. That is wrong. Bones should go back into the grave. And perfect digging. Just you see this grave. It should be deep, wide, the edges should be like square shaped, and there should be straight walls. Shouldn't be like done very improper way, because Prophet Muhammad, he said, whenever you do something, you do good. Whenever you slaughter good. You do perfection, and try to do perfection in everything. So even the person has died, but you still do things in a nice way. And this thing, if you do like this, it will hold the grave together. It will not fall out while burning, and it's good that way. But again, you can't be like, hey, this is a good act, I'll go and just dig quickly before everybody else. And you have to make sure that what direction you're digging the grave. You just can't start digging somewhere and okay, you can bury. No. The direction of the grave. If, for example, this is the foot of the person, and if this is the head of the deceased person, this wall, this qibla should be this way. Qibla should be this way. Yeah. If the person is lying straight, then if he turns his face right, then it should be the qibla, right? We'll see. We'll talk about how you should bury the grave itself, but this is the qibla side, and this is the foot, and this is the head. That we have to remember. So that should how it should be buried. And then, how long or how wide should be the grave? That of course depends on the height of the person who died, height, how wide he was. So that you have to know. Just don't go and start digging before without knowing how tall that person was. If you dig a 6.5 foot, and if the person was 7 foot, it's going to be a problem.
Would be the same. For the length and what would be the difference?
Yeah. Height is pretty flexible. It's flexible, yeah. We will see, inshallah. We'll talk about the exact measurements. The problem in this country is that you cannot do most of the things that we usually do Islamically. Most of the things are taken care of by the government itself. And for example, the digging, the excavating, and the filling of that whole space, and everything, they do it through machines here, and even lowering and raising, everything is done by them. So we cannot participate in that. But why do they do that? Why does the government take over? Because they say that we don't want people to get injured while doing this, so we want to take it over. We want to have professional people doing it. And they also say that sometimes people dig and they're not experienced people. They damage the grave on the other side. So they want to make sure nothing gets destroyed, or everything is well protected.